For more, we are joined by Mark Montgomery. He is a senior fellow at the Foundation for Defense of Democracies. Mark, how likely is it that this current deal will lead to a longer-term truce, or are we looking at a return to full-scale fighting?
Tara, thank you very much for having me. And, that is kind of the $64,000 question here. The current phase one transfers are held up because of bad behavior by Hamas, sending the wrong body back for Sherry Abbas, the autopsies of the babies revealing cruel deaths at the hands of Hamas, and then finally the shenanigans surrounding the transfer of the 4 or 6 prisoners. So in every possible way, Hamas violated the norms that were being used for the transfer of these prisoners. As a result, Israel held back 600 Palestinians, and we're now at a standstill. I think the most likely path forward is an extension of this phase one. I don't think Israel can realistically go to the phase two agreements because they don't have the basic trust you need with that Hamas will abide by the rules, since in this much easier instance they have not abided by the rules. So I suspect phase two is off the table for now. An extension of phase one is the best that either side will get out of this.
With Hamas exploiting these hostage negotiations, do you think that Steve Witkoff will be able to prevent future releases from being used as propaganda?
No. I think Hamas uses these as propaganda. They're desperately trying to show the propaganda, although it has an effect on the Israeli population, a negative effect, and that's a side benefit for Hamas. The target of the Hamas theatrics around the releases are the Palestinian people. They're trying to show they still exist, they still have power, they still have influence after 14 months or 15 months of combat operations against them by the Israeli Defense Forces. So they're going to continue because they need to try to impress on the population of Gaza that Hamas still has value and meaning.
Right. And IDF tanks, of course, have entered the West Bank for the first time in decades. Explain how this shifts the conflict beyond Gaza.
Well, this is Netanyahu, saying that the inappropriate behavior over the last 16 months, as much as was going on in Gaza and with Hezbollah and with the IRGC groups in Syria and Iraq and with the Houthis from Yemen, there was also, attacks from the West Bank or Judea and Samaria against IDF forces. And in fact, many of the people arrested that are now being released were taken in the West Bank area. So this is them reasserting control in an extremely aggressive manner. But I think at this point, the IDF and the Israeli government believe shows of force, strength are really necessary to impact the actions of the Palestinian Authority or Hamas.
Absolutely. Well, Mark Montgomery, we're out of time. Thank you so much. We appreciate your insights as always. Have a great day.
Thank you for having me.